So what can you say about Jason Sanders' performance with the 5 field goals and the whole special teams unit, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, you guys have heard me. Every time we send Jason out there, we expect the positive results. We haven't run him out there a lot with as much as we've been aggressive on fourth down, but in this particular game, it was his time, and fortunately, not surprisingly at all, he answered the bell.
How has he been hitting the ball now as compared to maybe the last couple of years or even earlier this year? I know you always say that it's very consistent. I see you shaking your head, but how has he been doing?
Absolutely the same. Yeah, absolutely the same. Mindset, physically, everything exactly as it's been over the years since I've been with him. So, again, absolute confidence in Jason when we sent him out there. And, in this particular game, the team needed him, and he answered.
Well, you say exactly the same, but sometimes the ball goes through and sometimes it doesn't. So something has to be different.
Well, no, that's the nature of the beast. I've not come across anybody that's been perfect in their career. There's ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows to every position on every team throughout the season, and that's just part of it. I've said this: as long as he's hitting good balls, I don't get concerned. And this year he's hit good balls. He's had a couple misses. You have 2 blocks in there that have nothing to do with him. So we worry about what we see on a day in, day out basis. He's been hitting good balls all season, and hopefully continues to do that.
What goes into? I'm sorry, Hal. What goes into hitting a good ball, Danny? Can you explain the technique and?
Well, it's really the ball flight. The rotation, the ball flight, the pattern. Is it moving? Is it not moving? Where's the tips? So there's when we talk about ball flight and hitting good balls, what's the target and where did the ball go based on the target? And we spend a lot of time in practice and we film every single one of those, so we have a pretty good idea of what the ball flight's doing. And if the ball's not flying like it should, then there's things you do to tweak that, whether it's with Jason or whether you do with a hold. So there's some ways around that. But he's been striking good balls all year, and fortunately, it was needed this game, and he performed well.
Is the target always down the middle, or is it that simple? Or
No, it's not that simple. So yeah, a lot of different aspects that go into it.
How tough was the play that Elijah Campbell made it down that ball at the 2-yard line, where he kind of had to run through a couple of Cowboys on the return team and get that?
Yeah, it was a heck of a play because really, transitioned into trying to execute one technique into a different technique. So, really good play by him, good spot, good punt, by Jake, but really an exceptional play by Elijah down the field. Because as you said, it's not easy to do. He transitioned from one aspect of trying to make a play in one particular way to have it make it in another way. So. It's good to see. Big play in the game.
Danny, it seemed like the ball was exploding off his foot Sunday, maybe more than we've ever seen with him. The 57-yarder, for example, looked like it might have been 65, would have been easy. Yeah. First of all, am I off in my assessment? Secondly, what would lead to that?
There's no if I had it in a bottle, I would bottle it and sell it and probably be doing okay, make a couple of bucks. But he had a good week. And he usually has a good week, but had a good week, had a good Friday, was good in pregame, and so it was not surprising that he hit the ball well. And for whatever reason, if it looked like it was hitting it better, good. I hope we can find the answer, and we can find that every week.
You mentioned nobody's perfect, and I would agree with that. Although the guy you're going to face on Sunday is pretty darn close, it seems.
It's been outstanding, But then you look at him, he's having another great year as he always has. And he's 0 for 4 from over 50 this season, which, again, nobody sees that coming. He's, in my opinion, the greatest that's ever done it in the National Football League, and in my opinion, a Hall of Famer. But there's, as I said, there's ebb and flows to every season, to every game. But I think we'll have 2 good kickers in the game this weekend.
They won a game in overtime recently on a punt return. What are you telling your guys about Wallace?
Well, he is a physical ball carrier. He is tough to bring down. You look at his big returns that he's had this year. He's broken a lot of tackles, run through a lot of tackles. Is a physical player and makes good decisions. Their kicking game there has been good since for as long as I can remember with John being there, and we expect nothing different this weekend. It's a good group. Every level, the specialists are good, the core players are good, they're well coached from top down, so it's going to be a heck of a test.
Danny, we don't talk about the holder very often. A couple of things on that. Jake Bailey notices there's only 10 on the field. He told me after the game, I thought, well, I've never thought of this. He said there's 4 on each side of Blake. I was like, yeah, that's 8, and then, yeah, that's 11. That's brilliant. But talk about him noticing that, and then how different it is for a kicker to change holders.
Yeah. Well, and starting with the number, that's just part of his operation, part of our sequence that we execute on every play. Hopefully it doesn't come up a lot. We don't have to talk about it again. But that's just part of the operation that we work every time we step on the field as a field goal unit. We have the same thing with the field goal block unit, and really every team we have somebody's responsible for that. In terms of changing holders, it is it's never an issue. It'll be different for the first couple days. But fortunately, this part of the season, those guys have been working together since last spring, and we spend a lot of time together. And there's been a lot of balls put on the ground and talked about in terms of the spot, the spin, the lean, whatever it may be. So it's a group. But again, every time you are successful making a kick, it's snap, it's hold, it's the kick, and then it's protection. So the whole group, like anything, it takes all 11 guys on any team on any phase to have good execution.
How long does it typically take for the holder and kicker to have that chemistry?
It depends on what that guy has come from. If it's an experienced guy, who he's held for in the past, and what that guy's like. Some guys like certain leans, forward, side, back. So the transition that the muscle memory develops after X amount of holds. You take a guy that's been someplace with a different kicker for 4 or 5 years. His mindset and muscle memory is one thing, and then you may have to tweak that. But it doesn't take long. They're professional athletes for a reason, and they work on their craft and they get it executed.
When the holder notices that the 10 men on the field, is that an automatic timeout, or
it depends on the time, the situation, where the ball is on the field. Again, there's a lot of things that can tie into whether or not we want to take a timeout, whether we'll take a delay, whether we'll get somebody in there. So there's a couple different scenarios.
And Danny, to further put my ignorance on parade,
Never.
I was talking to Jake Bailey after the game, and he was saying, all the kicks, the process has been pretty much flawless this year, and he was saying the laces out. Tell me about laces out. What is the significance of that, and why can't a kicker hit the laces?
Well, it affects the impact of the football and how much pressure you're able to generate. When you hit the laces, being a hard surface, the ball is not going to compact as much, so you're not going to get as much distance.
Dan Marino touched it.
Go back to the movies. I love it.